So next I'd like to talk to you about why you use self-hypnosis. The primary reason, there's several reasons. One is just to relax or to learn to relax. But if all you do is go into the hypnotic state and you don't actually do something with it, you're missing out on a lot of the benefit. You want to actually do something while you're there, okay? And generally speaking, what you're going to want to do is you're going to change something about the way you behave, all right? Let me give you an example from my own life, something that I did that I was phenomenally successful with. And that was, my wife had, we were lying in bed having a conversation, and she brought up the fact that it kind of bothered her that I would walk over to the sink and I would put my dishes in the sink, I would rinse them off, then I'd stack them neatly somewhere rather than actually putting them in the dishwasher. I had no idea why I did that. She's like, why? I don't know. But maybe I can do something about it. Okay? This is an example of where you could do something about a behavior that you currently have. You want to change something. So using this as an example, what do I want to change? I want to change my behavior of stacking them. Okay, well, what do I want to change it to? Well, in this case, I want to change it to putting them in the dishwasher. Okay, all right, so we want this behavior to be turned into that behavior. Okay, so when is it going to happen? Well, in my case, it was when I've just finished eating and I'm walking towards the sink and I'm rinsing off the dishes. I'm creating all this first-person perspective. In my mind, what you can't see is I'm seeing myself, right? I've got the empty dishes, the dirty dishes in my hand. I'm walking towards the sink. You want to create that sense of a moment in time, an actual, tangible freeze frame of when am I going to do my target behavior. Okay? The better job you can do of creating that experience in your mind, the more successful you're going to be. So when do you want to do what it is you want to do? Okay? Then what you need to do is come up with a affirmation that reflects all of this. And it's going to say, when am I going to do it? What am I going to do? What am I going to get out of doing it? Okay, so basically this is the three-part sentence. What, when, and why. And that three-part sentence needs to have several characteristics. One is going to be, put it in the present tense. If you say, I will do such and such and such. Okay, well, I will is at some point I might, or I expect to, not I do. It's I will. So there's this sense of distance, and it may seem like, oh, you're just playing games. Well, guess what? Your subconscious mind is pretty literal. So when you talk about things that haven't happened, it's not in the present, then it's not relevant to the here and now, therefore it doesn't matter. So in the future, if you've given yourself this affirmation in a future sense, it's permanently in the future. So it needs to be in the present tense. Does that make sense? So now, the next thing that I want you to think about is make it believable. Really, can you actually imagine yourself doing the behavior? If you can't, for whatever reason, you won't have success. If you can't believe that you will do whatever it is. Now, me putting the dishes in the dishwasher, I can believe myself doing that. Yeah, no problem. That's ridiculous to think that I wouldn't. But there are times when, you might want to say, okay, well, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go jogging. And if you can't believe that you would actually do that, because you're thinking to yourself, there's no way I would actually do that. That's way too early. It's not, but if you don't believe that you would actually do it, you're not going to have success. You're gonna enter into a self-conflicting mode. You're going to say it, but you're not going to mean it, and you're going to actually create a situation where it's even less likely to happen. So don't do that. Make sure it's believable. If you can't believe the first thing you come up with something you can believe. Okay? And again, we're talking about the activity that you're going to do and the reason for doing it. Make sure that it's stated in the positive. I talked about this earlier. It's not what you're not going to do, it's what you're going to do. In my case, I'm going to put the dish in the dishwasher. Now, somebody that says, I'm going to use this technique to try to quit smoking. So what are you going to do? I'm going to not smoke. No, I didn't ask what you're not going to do. I asked what you're going to do. I don't know. Well, that's the problem. Okay, so when I get the urge to smoke, what am I going to do? I'm going to drink an 8-ounce glass of water. It's a good one. So when I get the urge to smoke, I almost made that mistake. When I get the urge to smoke, I go into the kitchen, I fill up a glass of water, and I drink it all the way down, slowly, until the urge fails, goes away. Now that's a lot of words, way too many words. That, as I continue with this, you'll see that that's way too many. We want to keep it simpler than that. But it's something you do, not something that you choose not to do. It needs to be measurable. Did I do it or did I not do it? Well, you can measure whether or not you went in the kitchen. Either you did it or you didn't. You can measure whether or not you drank the water. I did or I didn't. A lot of people, their first instinct is to say, well, I will feel this or I will feel that. Okay, well that's not very objective. It's not very measurable. How are you going to establish in an objective way whether or not you met the criteria? I feel good. All right, fine. And once I feel good, I'm going to put a tally mark on a piece of paper. Do something, work something into it so that it's measurable. Okay. Rewarding. You want to have some reason for doing what you're doing. So there needs to be a reward for the new behavior. In the case of the dishes, the reward could be I put the dishes in the dishwasher and I feel good because I know that I've made my wife happy. Okay. In the example of somebody that's trying to quit smoking, it could be I drink the water and I feel good because the urge to smoke is gone. Okay, so something like that. Identify what your reward is going to be. Make sure that you include it in your affirmation. Remember what I said about experiencing things from a first-person perspective. Make sure that everything that you put in your sentence about when you're going to do it, what it is you're going to do, and what you're going to get out of it, can be expressed in terms of this is what I see, this is what I feel, this is what I hear, this is what I'm doing, as opposed to something abstract. Make it concrete. And remember what I said about creating a moment in time. Like my moment in time was as I'm walking towards the sink with the dirty dishes. That's my anchor. That's my trigger for the memory. Okay, so you need to have that moment in time, the when. When are you going to do it? Turn the when into a snapshot in your mind. What? What are you going to do? Make it be an activity, first person experience of doing it. Why are you doing it? What are the benefits? What do you get out of it? Okay? Last but not least is keep it simple. I'm guilty when I'm doing it for me. I like to make it full of words, and I like to put in language to cut out loopholes and stuff like that. Keep it simple. And by the way, when I say I like to, I mean when I'm doing it with me. Try to keep it simple, because the more complex you make it, the more muddied the waters get. I'm saying this from experience. And so keep it simple, and just write it down. What is it that I need to do? When am I going to do it? What am I going to get out of it? That's your affirmation. Then you insert that into your self-hypnosis practice. There it is. There's my one, and you got a 3x5 card with fairly big print. It's got to fit on that card. If you've got to write a book, it's too big. Put it on the card. Add it to your self-hypnosis routine. I do suggest, however, that every night when you do your pre-sleep technique, it's every day in every way. I keep getting better and better. Never change that one. Stay with that one, because that one is good for you. Okay?